Hello folks, and welcome back to Jeeping for Beginners. Once again, my name is Josh, and today we're continuing our discussion on brake lights and the lights on the back of your Jeep. We're using my wife's JK as our example for these videos. If you saw the one we put up last time, we talked about installing the taillights. Today, we are going to talk about lighting up the third brake light. Now, on most of our Jeeps, we're going to modify them and we're going to increase the size of our tires. When we do that, we kind of hide the factory brake light. So I'm going to show you a really cool solution that we use in order to get that third brake light back to visible, especially in an area where people need to see them. So stick around. I think you're going to enjoy this. Alright folks, so like I had mentioned in the onset, we are going to be using my wife's JK today. We are running 35-inch tires on her Jeep. So when we put the 35-inch spare on the back, as you can see, the third brake light is almost no longer worth it. Now, if you're going to run 37-inch tires or 40-inch tires, it's definitely going to block it and becomes completely useless. Now, I don't know about you, but I actually like having as many brake lights as possible, especially living in a busy city like Las Vegas, because you need to tell those people behind you that you're stopping and avoid those rear-end collisions. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to put some lights inside the rim of the tire to light up as our third brake light. It's not that complicated of a process, although there are a few extra steps over what we did to install the taillights. So first, we need to get the tire off and we need to find the wiring. So let's get the wheel off the back of the Jeep. All right, folks, now my wife and I have not had this Jeep for very long. This is actually the very first time we pulled the spare tire off. I actually thought this was the factory tire carrier, which I was going to show you how to do that on a factory tire carrier. But it looks like the previous owner did put an aftermarket tire carrier in here, which in our particular case is actually going to make this a little bit easier. But ultimately, what we're looking for is the wiring. Now, on a factory tire carrier, the wiring is going to fall up behind and run up to the third brake light. In our particular case, the wiring is right here. We are going to be removing the factory third brake light, so we're going to end up cutting and splicing. So if you're not comfortable with that, let me show you the easiest, quickest way to do that. So regardless of the setup that you have, what you're looking for is the factory third brake wiring. In our case, because we have the factory lens, we can just unplug it, remove the lens, and now we have the wiring necessary to get started on step number 2. The next step is going to be fitment of the third brake light. In our case, we chose a ring that is one solid LED, and it simply sets right here where the spare tire goes. That's it, it's installed, it's that simple. But is it going to work yet? No. Now we need to deal with the wiring. On just about every single version of a third brake light or any type of aftermarket auxiliary light that you can buy for your Jeep, you're going to come with 2 colors, red and black. Your red is going to be your power, black is going to be your ground. Now, when you look at the wiring that's coming out of the Jeep, however, because each circuit is different, they use different colors for different things. So in this particular case, we've got a white with an orange stripe and a solid black. Now, if you're not sure which one is power and which one is ground, always grab a test light and double check just to make sure. In our particular case, this one's pretty simple. Black almost always means ground. So we've got black, ground, white with a stripe is going to be power. So now I've got to connect this to these in order to get this to have some power. Now, I told you I was going to show you a real easy way of doing this. So here, check this out. These guys are called Scotch locks. They're watertight and they're quick and easy. No splicing actually involved. One end is open, so you can slide it right over the wire you're trying to jump to. In our case, we put it on our power wire. Make sure she's in there nice and snug. Then take the power wire from our light and simply slide it right through. And then to make it really simple, all we got to do is grab a set of pliers We're going to level this out here. Set of pliers, and then pinch it down, lock it in place, and that's it. We are now connected to power. We are going to do the same thing for the ground. Okay, so now we just got to get the negative attached, which is the same theory. Make sure she's in there and free moving. You don't necessarily want it exactly in the same spot as the other one, especially if you're going to tape it up, but that's completely up to you. Comes down to personal preference. We are going to slide the loom back, put this in, grab our pliers, and then that's it. They're together, and the light now has power. The advantage of also doing it this way is, should you ever want to go back to the factory or the stock setup, you didn't actually cut the plug off. So anyways, I think that's kind of an advantage. So now let's see if it works. All right, so now we know it works. We got the wiring tucked up out of the way. Final step is we just got to put the tire back on and then make sure that the light shines through the rim. So real quick, before we go to put the tire back up, I know I pointed this out on previous videos, but I still get a lot of questions about it. So I want to show you the easiest way to get your oversized spare tire back up onto your Jeep without actually putting too much pressure on your back, your body, your arms, because we all know these things are heavy. So what you want to do is have the rim itself facing the Jeep. Now this works for the wheels as well. You reach down, grab the tire, you're going to put the weight of it up against your midsection right here. Make sure that you're set, grab the rim, and then just fold it up. By doing it that way, you take the pressure off of your back and you put it on your legs, and then the 100 pounds this thing weighs doesn't seem all that bad. All right, folks, so it's that simple. We got the wheel back on. Now we just got to see if it works. And look at that. We now have a third brake light that is clearly visible to the people that are driving behind you. Listen, once again, my name is Josh. This is Jeeping for Beginners. If you have any questions whatsoever on anything that we did here today or on any of my past videos, please don't hesitate to put it in the comments down below or shoot me an email at YASMARProductions@gmail.com. Like I said, this is Jeeping for Beginners, wishing you happy Jeeping, and we will see you next time.